Swift Dictionary is an unordered collection that stores key value pairs. We can think of a dictionary in Swift as a real word dictionary. So, in the real world scenario, we pick up a dictionary, we look for a word, and then we can read of the meaning of the word we're looking for in the dictionary. So, in a sense, uh, the word we're looking for will refer to the key, while the meaning the word points to is going to be the value. So, unlike array, we talked about array earlier. Unlike array that forces us to look things up, by the integer index, with dictionary, we get to use a more meaningful approach by using meaningful identifiers, maybe strings or UIDs or integers, to look up for for shortcut lookup, if that expression applies to our situation. Now, you look at our screen. I have a small example on our screen. So we're going to use this for fast lookup by unique identifier. Now, so we have AI models. This is how we make dictionaries in Swift. So the dictionary name, which is going to be the variable name, we're using var here, and then the type. So here the key is going to be string, the value is going to be string. So this is how it goes. And then the dictionary body. So this is the key, this is the value, key, value, key, value, key, value, like so. So for fast lookup, we can create another variable. So this is a constant in this case. And then, so you realize that this is optional. So, well, remember, Swift is type safe. It enforces this type safe integrity. Now, even though it's inferring this to be string, which is optional, the reason why it's optional is, well, for all Swift knows, the key we pass here may not even exist here. So this is going to be, if it didn't exist, then this is going to be nil. So you realize that here we have think there's a 1 in here. I'm placing my cursor on it. I don't know why it's not, I can't read it off. So it says expression implicitly coerced from string to any. Okay, so I'm not going to bother us with how to improve this for now. We're going to talk about this later on how to improve this so that uh, we're able to fetch data from our dictionary safely. So I'm just going to run this and see what this gives us. So it's running. Okay, debug anyway. It's taking quite a bit. It's taking quite a bit. Okay, so now we have a option. I say it's optional, so it returns optional type. XAI, well, we use the key for grok, so it's returning the value optional XAI as we expect. So we're going to talk about how to uh, do this fast lookup in a more safe and sound way later on. Now, another scenario where we might want to use a dictionary is say we're counting word frequency. Maybe we're building a social media app and then we need to count how many times maybe certain hashtags are used. in our field. So we can also use a dictionary. So let's look at how we might approach that. Uh, I'm going to come. So we can do let dynamic hash. Okay, let me just use hashtags. Then in here, so this is going to be this is an array. I know we're talking about dictionary, but just bear with me for now. So let's say we have I don't know, some kind of hashtag iOS, and then we could have another hashtag. Uh, let's have Swift again, and then we can have no, let's say coding, and then let's have another iOS. iOS. Uh, Maybe we have another Swift, like so. Okay, so this is our list. Now, for our dictionary, we can do var hash count. Don't want to waste our time. Now here we have to specify the type. So we want our key to be string, and then we want our value to be int. Remember, we're looking at count word count frequency. We're trying to count the frequency of our hash tags. Okay, so our key is going to be string, and then our value is going to be integer. So we're going to set this to empty dictionary. So this is how we do empty dictionary for now. Now we have to loop through this. Maybe okay, we have to loop through this array, and then we can use for loop. So for tag in dynamic hashtags like so, and then in here we can then populate our hash count, so that we can do hash count, and then here we can pass tag as key. Then for our value we can set a default 0, and then we can increment this plus equals 1. So what this does is, if the tag exists, we increment it. If it doesn't exist, then it starts at 0 and then it had 1. So that's what this is doing. Says if the tag exists, if our hashtag exists, then Swift is going to increment it. If it doesn't exist, we use this default 0, and then it started at 0 and then had 1, like so. So this is what this is doing. So then we can do print hash count, like so. So if this works, then we should get our tag, which is going to be our hashtag, and then the number of times we have it inside our array. So that's going to form a dictionary for us, key value pair. So I'm going to run this. Okay, now we have coding once, hash coding once, hashtag Swift 3 times, and hashtag iOS 2. So this default parameter that we have here, uh, what it does is it gracefully handles initializing missing keys on the fly. So this saves us having to write messy if else blocks. So bear this in mind. Good. Another thing we might want to accomplish with dictionary is say we want to map configuration settings. Dictionary is perfect for storing environmental configurations, maybe feature flags as well, or app settings. So let's look at how we might do that. We can have, I'm going to delete this. Then we can have game settings. Game settings. So we're going to specify the type. So it's going to string for the key and then any for our value. So the body of our dictionary is going to be, so maybe we do graphics quality, and for the value we can set ultra. Now you realize that here this is not homogeneous, unlike array. So we can do the, so here we have values any key string. So another thing is dictionary can take multiple type. So maybe we do audio volume, and then for our value we can do 0.85, okay, it's 6, like so. And then maybe we do is multiplayer enable, is multiplayer enabled, and then we set that to true. Then maybe we do max player, and then we set that to 8. So this can take any type for the value. That's another behavior peculiar to dictionary in Swift. So then we might want to update this dynamically. So the way we do that is to grab the key. So we can do, for instance, maybe we do game settings, and then we grab the key, we grab audio volume, and then we want to update this. Maybe this time around we want to update this to 0.5, like so. So this is saying user turn down the audio. And then we can do another one, game settings, and then we can do current level. What is it saying? Subscript is accessible, result is unused. Give me a minute. So here we can do, now if you look at this, you realize we don't have current level here, there. So we can add this current level by using the key and then setting the value, by creating the key and then setting the value. Maybe you want to do the shadow forest. Okay, like so. Then we can print. Let's print our game settings. Let's see what we get. Print game settings. I'm going to save this, and then let's see whether this current level that we've added is going to populate our dictionary. So I'm going to run this. Okay, it's taking a bit. Okay, so I think we have it. Current level, the shadow first. Audio 0.5. Graphics quality. So this is, you realize it's unordered, but then you still get the job done anyway. So our current level has been added to our dictionary, and then the update that we did here, setting audio volume to 0.5, is here as well. Now another thing we might want to do with Swift dictionary is maybe represent JSON data from a server. That would be in the networking scenario. Maybe I don't know, maybe we have a mobile app that communicates with a web backend, and then maybe the data is almost always arrives formatted as JSON. JSON is quite a popular format, which stands for JavaScript Object Notation. Now, structurally, we can mirror this data using Swift dictionary. So let's see how we might do that, I'm going to cancel this, erase this. Then we can do, maybe we do let, what should we do? Whether API response, and then we can set the type string, and then any, any. If I could type, then the body of our dictionary, like so. So maybe we have location, location, I don't know, is it San Francisco? San Francisco. And then let's do what's up, temperature, maybe 68.6, 68.6. Basic conditions, let's say partly cloudy, and then let's say humidity, and then this is 72, like so. So you realize this, whether API response is encoded in JSON, but then we can't just use JavaScript JSON directly in Swift. We have to encode it or structure it in dictionary, like so. So you see the key is string, and then the value is any type. So we have string here, double here, integer here, and then string there as well. So you might be thinking, when should you use dictionary versus when should you use array? When we use array, we're thinking when order matters, we can use array. So maybe a top 10 scoreboard, something like that. Or maybe when we have duplicate values, we can use array. Or maybe when we wish to access data sequentially using numbers. Now for a dictionary, where order doesn't matter, but then we want to do some kind of fast access, so we can use dictionary. Or maybe we want to search labels, maybe we want to search some kind of data and then we want it to be completely unique, we can use dictionary, something like that. Okay, so let's look at the other time we talked about how when we access, what I'm trying to say is this. Look at this weather API. If I do, what is it? Let API equals weather API response, and then here I pass the key. Let's say I pass location, and then here I do print API. You see, the any type is optional. We did this the other time. I'm going to save this, and then I'm going to run this. It's taking a while. I want to show us again because I think we demonstrated this a while ago. It's going to give us optional San Francisco, which is the value of the key that we pass here, San Francisco. Now, this is not a very safe way of accessing data from a dictionary. So the way we might do it safely is something like this, because for us Swiftness, this key can be nil. So we can do if let API, then we can do, then here we can do print the value of our API is, then we can pass API here. And if it's nil, then else, we can do print value for this key was not found. Okay, so I'm going to save this. Of course, this is going to run because this location key is there in our dictionary. So I'm going to run this. So it's building. Okay. All right. So it says the value of our API is San Francisco. Now, in the event that I passed a key that does not exist here, this is going to resolve gracefully by defaulting to this else block. So I can do, for instance, I do map. So map does not exist. So now save. Then if I run this, say value for this key was not found. If we didn't do this, if I just did what I did the other time, let's just go back there and see. If I didn't do this, say I did, and then I do the value of our API is API. I use this key which does not exist in our weather API response. Let's see what we will get. Okay, let's see. See, it says the value of our API is nil. You see? So if you're building an application, you don't want this kind of behavior. You want to like handle this gracefully. So that's what I want to show us. Now, there's a way we can do need coalescing operation. Say we want to extract a value, but then we wish to provide a fallback, maybe a default value immediately in the case that the key is missing. So we can use the nil coalescing operator. I am conflating this with null coalescing operator in another programming language, but in Swift it's known as nil coalescing operator. So we use a double question mark for that. So let's look at how we might do that. This is what I was talking about, nil coalescing operator. So this a double question mark. So we can have let position count. We have let's position count. Then we'll set this to hero inventory. And then let's have positions. And then okay, so I've not set this. I can just default this to 0. So what is this? It's saying cannot find hero inventory. Okay, that's true. We don't have hero inventory. So I have to create hero inventory. So we now var hero inventory. So this is going to be, I want to create a dictionary. I didn't set the type. I want Swift to infer the type for me. So it's assuming I want to set an array. So if I set the value now to reflect dictionary, you realize this is going to change to keep step with the value I have here. The details that I'm going to input here. So if I do weapon, for instance, then I do this. and then I do Excalibur. If I do this, see, it's changed what I have here. Okay, then if I do shield, and then I can set this to ages, like so. So now we have a dictionary. Good. Now it says let portion count string error inventory portions. I don't even have portions here, but then I've default this to a zero, not zero int, it's zero, what is it called? String. Because you see, it's type, it's inferring it as string here. So remember, portions, it's not here. We don't have a key called portions there. But then I've set a fallback to this zero string. So then we can do print. This is going to work. Portion count. So we're going to get this. So if I run this, we should get string 0. See, we get 0 here. Good. We talked about, I think we've used subscript assignment in the course of our demonstration. So that's one of the ways we can mutate our, what is it called? Our dictionary. This is what I was talking about. No, there is no way. There's no need to go back because we've talked about a subscript operation. There's another approach that's known as for key. So that's another way we can mutate our dictionary. So I should stop talking and let's just code it out. So for instance, if we have flight status, so we can also do this. We don't have to explicitly write the type. Swift is smart enough to infer the type for us. So let's say we have flight status. Let's have AA102. No, 102. No, that's not what I'm trying to do. And then let's set the status to be on time, like so. Good. Now, we want to update this dictionary. It just has one key value. We want to update this dictionary, but then we also want to know what the old value used to be before we update it, before we update what is here. So the approach we can use is known as for key. For key, not for key, for key. So let's look at how we might do that. I can do if let old status equals flight status dot update value. See, so update value dot update value. So we use dot update value. See, there's the for key. Our for key here. I don't know why I keep mispronouncing this. So we have to update this, and then to know what the old value was, we use this method dot update value, then for key. Hey, sorry about that. All right. This string, we're going to pass a string here, which is going to be for our let me pass it here. So if I say delayed, so delayed is going to be for our updated value. But then we have to keep track of what we have here by using this for key to grab the key that we have here. So here we can pass this key AA102. So this delay is going to be, all right, I think I've said that. Then in here we can do print, can do flight status changed from, let's see, old status to delayed, right? Delayed. Yeah, remember we passed this delayed. So it changed from old status, isn't this key? Then it changed to delayed, this status. So I'm going to save this, and then I'm going to run this to see what we get. Good. It says flight status changed from on time to delayed. So this key, it captures this on time value. And then the delay that we set, which is the new status, that's this. So the update value and then the for key helps us keep track of what was updated. So another thing we might want to do is, say we want to remove keys, or we want to delete a key value pair completely. So let's look at how we might do that, so that when we see the code, then I can explain. So for instance, we can have cat, and then here we can have maybe laptop. Maybe we have one, and then we can have a mouse, and then maybe that is two, like so. Then we can do cat, and then mouse. That's the key, right? Mouse. And then maybe we want to set this to 4 now. So if we change this to 4, obviously, it's going to update this. So now if I do print cat, so this is like a what is it called, subscript operator that we did before now. So if I save this and then I run this, of course it's going to change. I want us to see this before I remove it. Good. So mouse is for, laptop is 1. Good. Now if I change this to nil, what's going to happen? Watch this. Good. You see, laptop is 1. Mouse has been removed because I've changed the value to nil. Now, say we wish to know what was removed. Remember when we did the updated approach the other time. Now, say we wish to know what was removed. What was removed, we can also do that by using remove value, then for key approach to do that. So we can do, for instance, let me bring this back, and then we can do if let removed value equals cat dot remove value. No, this isn't going to work. No, it's not that it's not going. I don't want to do it like that. So let's cat dot remove value, and then we're gonna have for key. So the laptop. Okay, for key. So I'm using these. I'm using this laptop key here. Remember, we've removed the value from mouse. So here we can have here. Then we can do print. What should we print? Removed. No, laptop was not removed. Mouse was removed. So this should be mouse. Should be mouse. The key that was removed was mouse. So this should be mouse. Then here we can do print. Laptop was removed, and then we could have laptop was removed. Quantity was quantity was quantity is going to be remove value. Removed value, like so. So mouse was removed. No, no, laptop was not removed. Mouse was removed. What am I doing? Mouse was removed. Quantity was remove value. So let's see what that gives us. Okay, I've set this to be nil. Okay, let's see whether this works. I didn't get anything. Okay, so which means I can't use the key for what was removed. All right, so I'm going to change this to laptop. Laptop. I'm coming. If I come here, I want to do something. It's looking kind of confusing for me. So if I print remove value, I'm using laptop as key now. Okay, I've removed mouse. So if I run this, okay, one. All right. So once it's removed, I can't even access it anymore, because when I turn this to be so this is not even doing what I was expecting it to do, because cat dot remove value if I didn't do this, what would happen? I don't think it will have any bearing. Okay. I think I see the mistake I was making. So if we have these two, for instance, and then if I change this to be mouse, for instance, say I didn't remove the value, I still have these two items there, this key value pairs. Then I do if let remove value, cut the remove value for key mouse, then I can say here, then I can do mouse. Mouse was removed, and the quantity and quantity was remove value. Remove value. This. So if I save this, I should get 2. All right, let's see. Good. So the mouse was removed and the quantity was 2. So this is a way to know what was removed by using this remove value for key. What if we want to do bulk transformation? So let's do that. I think that's going to let's look bulk transformation. Bulk transformation. For bulk transformation, for instance, let's say let menu prices equals, here we can do burger, and then let's say the price of burger is 10.0. It's going to be double. And then let's say for fries, let's say maybe the price is 4.0, then that will be dollar. Then for shake, let's set that to be 5.0, like so, for many prices. Now to do our bulk transformation, we can do let price increase equals, you can do menu prices dot map values. So we want to map the values, and then we can use our shorthand name parameter that we used the other time, 0. So this will refer to each of the value that we have here. So we can multiply that the value, each of the value, by, I don't know, maybe 2.0, like so. So this is going to transform the values that we have here. So this $0 refers to each of the value that we have inside our dictionary, like so. Okay, so then we can do print price increase. Then I'm going to save this, and then let's see what we get. Good. So I think we've multiplied by this by 2. Shake. Okay, so this is working as expected. Another thing we might do is we can use the dot filter method. So we can filter an entire dictionary based on a condition, and then this is going to return a brand new dictionary which contains only the pairs that passed our test. I think we did something related in Harry. So let's look at how we might accomplish that in a dictionary. Let's say let employee ages. Say we can have Sarah. Let's say Sarah is 24. We can have Alex. Say Alex is 19. We can have John. Say John is 34. Then maybe we can have Miriam. Let's say Miriam is 22, like so. Now we can transform this by using the dot filter method. So we can select senior staff equals employee ages dot filter, and then in here we can pass our closure. We can have name age Then we can say in return age greater than or equals to 30. So this is the condition that has to be met. So this is going to return a new dictionary that contains key value pairs, but then the value, that is the age, has to be greater than or equals to 30. So it has to satisfy this condition. I believe from what we have here, we should get just a single staff. So then we can do print senior staff. So we should get, I think this should output John for us. So let's see. So it's building, it's building, it's building. Okay, so we have John, 34. So only John satisfied his condition. So guys, that's all for dictionary. I hope to see you very soon.